SoFi stock's 7-day win streak just ended with the news coming out that student loan forgiveness is back on the table. Now, being an election year, most likely the push from the government is going to be very strong to get the student loan forgiveness so that it does help them in the upcoming election. Is this the end for the bull run of SoFi, or is the fate of SoFi going to change with the earnings coming up on 7:30? In today's video, we will take a look at the technical analysis of SoFi, also look at the earnings projections, the latest revisions in the price targets, as well as some metrics around the reporting and how you can trade SoFi for the earnings if you want to do that. If you like today's video and you want more content like this, give us a like, and without further ado, let's dive in. SoFi is going to report earnings on 7:30. It's going to be right before the market, and our EPS estimate is 0.01 and the revenue is 566.69 million, which is pretty much in line with what they reported or estimated last quarter, but they did beat that by $21 million. We do have a couple of down revisions. We have 5 down revisions with 3 up revisions. Also, scrolling down to the earnings history, you can see they have been beating their revenue since they have started reporting. They did miss the EPS couple times here, and then they came in line couple times as well. Fundamentally, the SoFi as a company has been improving. We can clearly see that in their income statement. If you look at the revenue, it's been growing. Now we are looking from right to left, so you can see the September 2021 going all the way to March 2024. It's been constantly increasing. The same can be said about the operating income. We did see increment. We were in losses in the beginning, and then from December 2023, March 2024, we are seeing this increment. We should see a similar increment in this quarter as well. The same can be said about the net income as well. And then if you jump into the cash flow, this is also very, very important. Cash flow from operations has also seen positive in the last quarter. So overall, from a fundamental standpoint, this company is improving. Now, is it going to dethrone the big banks? Not at the current point in time. The services are improving, the members are increasing, the revenue is increasing, the cash flow is increasing, the net income is increasing. Overall, good sign. But is this a stock that is going to be $45 or $50 or $100 by end of 2030? Nobody knows. It's a prediction. We'll see how that goes. This video is not focused on the long-term price target of SoFi, but we are focused on how it's going to perform in the coming weeks and how we can take advantage of the earnings. Anytime you're planning to buy or trade any stock during the earnings, you have to look at the implied move. Around the earnings time frame, you can see the price of options predicted around 15.2% post earnings move compared to the minus 10.5 actual move. So you can think about anywhere between 10 to 16% will be the move. So let's take 16% as our average move for the SoFi stock. So 747 is the current stock price, and let's say it's going to move about 16.2%. You could see a plus minus $1.21 move up or down. So keep that implied move in mind if you're planning to trade SoFi around the earnings. Anytime earnings is coming up, our implied volatility will increase. That's a given. For the week of 8/2 ending, our implied volatility jumps from 58%, which is next week, to 93% the following week. So if you're planning to buy options, you will probably have to spend a lot more cash. And if you're going to sell options, you are going to get a little bit more premium. Generally, the retail investors are very bullish on stocks like SoFi. So you have about 96,000 call options versus only 41,000 put option expiring on 8/2. Our put to call is 0.43. So very bullish. In the last 3 weeks or so, we have seen some downward revisions on the price target, not on the stock rating, but the price target. Barclays reducing the price target from 10 to 8, Cafe, Brewitt and Woods reducing from 7.5 to 7, and Needham has kept standard $10. I wouldn't pay too much attention on the price targets. These are just guidelines on how analysts are predicting stocks, and most of the times as new news comes out, they go ahead and they revise the price target. SoFi short interest is about sitting at 17.69%, so relatively very high short interest. Let's jump into the charts for SoFi and see how this is performing. We were in this zone around the middle of June and all the way going into the second week of July. Then we saw this solid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight days of win, and then when the news came down, we are seeing this doji candle where market is kind of uncertain on where the stock price will move, and that is also in relation to the upcoming earnings and will really depend on the future guidance. If we look back a little bit here around the March, we saw this gap down on this big selling of SoFi, and since SoFi has been trading in this range of about, let's say, $8 all the way going to $6, and you can clearly see that the volume shelf has really built up around this area because it's just been trading in this range for almost like 3-4 months now. If we draw a volume shelf from here to here, most of the volume is now starting to form around this level of 752 going all the way to about 777. This is where most of the buying is happening. There's really not much volume at these levels of 726, and then we start to see some volume again at 691 or so. So with the upcoming news, the stock currently is trading below its 200-day moving average, and with the stock trading in the $6 to $7 range for the last 2-3 months, the 20-day and the 50-day moving average has also gone down. The last 7 days of trading, the 20-day moving average started to curl back up and is looking to cross the 50-day moving average, which of course is a good sign for the stock. So with the earnings coming up next week, we will continue to see a lot of volatility. Now, what you should be looking at if you're planning to trade SoFi on the upside if we see a breakout. Well, first of all, there will be a resistance at 200-day moving average, and if we are able to break that because of the earnings, we would like to see SoFi filling this gap first, which is all the way from 820 going all the way to 861. As I mentioned, if you look at the implied move, it's going to be a $1.20, $1.30 move, 880 or so. So it should be somewhere actually filling this gap up if that were supposed to happen. On the downside, what you should take a note on is we would have some levels of support. We would see the 729 acting as a support, as this has been a support on this range for a while now with many touch points. If it falls below that, then our next touch point would be about 685. If you're a fan of the channel, you know we love to sell options on stocks, specifically on SoFi, because it's a very range bound stock. Of course, when it starts to break out, we could see a massive upswing. If you're planning to trade on SoFi, $7 put, that would get you about 29 cents. That's the middle range. The current volatility at 7 would be about 88% with a delta of 31%. So that's a pretty good delta for the earnings, and that is what I will be looking to target SoFi. Now, if you want to get real-time updates on the trade that I take, make sure you follow me on Twitter at InvestKaye. On July 17th, I did post my trade update here. We had a $7 put on SoFi, expiration of July 26th, and at the time of recording, I was up about 91% on July 7th. Of course, it has gone down a little bit because the stock did take a dip on Friday, but we will continue to hold it and see how it performs closing to expiration, because now the theta will start to take effect and the contract is going to start losing value much faster. As you can see, this was the chart for the 17th before we saw this red candle here, and then we saw the decline on Friday with the indecision on the market. With that said, I am again looking at a $7 put to trade for the earnings day, and let me know what is your price target. Are you a trader? Are you an investor in SoFi? I would love to know that. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you give us a like, click on subscribe and ring the bell notification. I will see you next time, investor family, but don't forget to invest tomorrow.